Hello and welcome to your Access Point to Washington. I'm Aisha Tanzim. The elections in Pakistan are only a month away, and all indicators point to the possibility of an extremely divided parliament, where a few seats will tip the balance between sitting on the treasury or the opposition benches. Although Pakistan's religious minorities are around 4% of the population, their votes are concentrated and can make a significant impact. We will talk about the role of Pakistan's religious minorities in these elections. My guest in the studio is Qasim Rashid. He's a human rights activist from the Ahmadiyya community. And from Islamabad, we are joined via Skype by a columnist and member of the PTI, Samson Sharaf. From Lahore, we have on Skype Najmuddin. He represents the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan. And from Karachi via telephone, we have Mukesh Chawla, a former PPP minister in Sindh, who's joined me. Welcome everyone to the show. And let me start with some of the statistics. Now, there are almost 98 seats in the National Assembly constituency in these elections, where we know that the minority vote can swing the elections. And let me look at some of the numbers for you people. 3 seats where there are over 100,000 minority votes, 8 seats where there's over 50,000, 12 seats where there are over 25,000, and 75 seats where there are over 10,000 minority votes in the constituency. And let me remind everyone that in the 2 previous elections, there were over 50 seats where the margin was less than 10,000. So a huge difference. So given these statistics, and I'll start with you, Samson, in Karachi. Given these statistics, shouldn't the mainstream political parties be simply running after the minority vote?
Good morning to all the viewers in the United States of America. This is not the case. It is tragic and it is pathetic, because I was part of a group sponsored by the World Jewish Services to carry out this survey. And we carried out an exhaustive survey over a 100-page document. And we are the ones who brought out all the statistics, and they are based on the elections of 2008. So conveniently, according to the population ratios, it can be made. But no political party has shown any difference.
Okay,
Or any.
we're having some problem. We're having some problem with your audio. So let me go to Najam. Najam, why is it that given these statistics in an election that's this close, political parties are not running after the minority vote?
Thanks, Asha, and a good day to everyone. Well, you're right that there are, almost close to 100 constituencies where the minority vote can tip the balance. The vote itself is more than the margin of victory. Why the political parties have not gone to the minorities? I think that things have changed somewhat. We should remember that almost until the late 2007, we still had what we call separate electorate in Pakistan, where the minorities, the religious minorities, were on one voting list. And
now
the majority was.
Now they get a representative elected seats in the parliament. I want to go, Mukesh, to you, since your party has been in the government in Sindh and in the central. Do you agree that minorities are not courted as they should be?
Hi there, everybody. Basically, Aisha, the thing is, first of all, I would like to correct what Mr. Najmuddin said. The joint electoral started in 2002, not in 2007, first of all. And, it's basically the reserve seat started in 2002. And second of all, where it comes to minorities, People's Party is the only party which has properly looked after the minorities. The reason behind that, I would like to give a couple of examples. It was Pakistan People's Party in 2005 Senate election. It was for the first time in history of Pakistan, they brought a minority, a lady minority, as a senator from a general seat. Then when you come down to 2007 elections, there was first time in the history that minorities were given general seats to fight. For
Okay,
example, Dr.
Mukesh, now
Dayaram.
understand that
No,
you're-
listen, and yeah.
No, I understand that you were saying your party did a lot for the minorities, and I was going to come to it later, but since you've raised it, I was talking to the Pakistan Hindu Council right before we went on air. They're very upset, and they're a majority in Sindh. They're saying, record migration, record kidnappings for ransom.
The reason I
no
would like
security.
to ask you, please, if you can speak to the chief, Patton, whoever that Ramesh Lal is, if he was so interested in like minority stuff and everything, for his only seat, he changed his domicile from Sindh and went to Balochistan and took that domicile to fight an election. So that when the matter comes, they were upset. They were upset because they were not part of the politics from anywhere, because those people were not elected from anywhere. So first of all, when he was an MP in 2002, what did he do? What did he do for his people? What did he do for minorities?
The question is, what did you guys do? You say you've raised the quota for employment, but who's implementing it? My information is nobody is.
No. Listen, People's Party is the only party which gave 3 ministries to minorities for the first time in history of Pakistan. Important ministries like Excise and Taxation, Wildlife, and the Ministry of Minorities. Which other party so far has done that? The records are open. Nothing is hidden. Everything is on the piece of paper. Like those people who are crying, when they were in power from 2002 to 2007, what did they do for minorities?
Okay, we'll come back to this issue.
Show me one single work which they have done for the minorities.
We'll come back to this issue of what each individual party has done, but let us focus in general on minorities, and let us come back to the studio. Our guest's been waiting for a long time. So Qasim, your turn. You are here as a member of the Ahmadiyya community, and your community in Pakistan has in general boycotted the elections.
Well, it's not that we've boycotted the election. The Ahmadiyya Muslim community, because we are Muslims who believe in the Messiah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian, we've been ostracized and prevented from voting. I'm hearing a lot of talk about what parties have done for minorities. Well, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community remains as the only religious community in Pakistan that has a separate electorate. So as far as there being a joint electorate, as far as we're concerned, it doesn't exist. We are required to declare our founder, the Messiah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, a non-Muslim, or we are required to declare ourselves non-Muslim. This is not a democracy. This is closer to a theocracy, and it is an insult to human decency.
Okay, so we'll come back to that issue as well. A lot of issues to talk about, but let us first go to our social media desk where Sarah Zaman's waiting. As we said, each vote's important. Let's hear what Sarah has to say.
Thank you, Aisha. Exactly. In a democracy, every vote counts. So we wanted to know what role you think minorities can play in Pakistan's upcoming elections, and if political parties in your area are making any special effort to court minority vote. I'd like to start with a video comment that came to us from a Hindu political worker in Karachi. His name is Karori Ram. Let's take a look.
यहाँ जो है एक सरदारी निज़ाम है, वडेरा निज़ाम है, क्योंकि हम ऐसे समझो कोई 1-2% हिंदू कम्युनिटी यहाँ रहते हैं जो अक़लियती बिरादरी है। इस वजह से कि हम कहते हैं एक बात वो हमारी नहीं सुनते, हमारे ऊपर थ्रेट किया जाता है कि आप हमें वोट देना है।
Pressured by feudal-minded politicians to vote for certain candidates. And if we look at Facebook, Prakash Kumar has expressed similar thoughts. He says, no one is asking the minorities for their vote. They are directing minorities to vote through force because minorities are a soft target here. Imran Khan thinks minority vote will be important in Sindh. He says PMLN will benefit from that. And Yar Muhammad Khan, he says, in fact, Jar Khan Kakar says, that no doubt minorities will play a vital role in making the next government. They have 10 reserved seats in the National Assembly. Major political parties will certainly need their cooperation. But we know that those members of parliament are not elected. They are in fact appointed by various political parties. And Bishop Khalid Pervez from Islamabad says that this in fact leaves minorities without adequate representation. Let's take a look.
But presently, mostly these members are selected by different parties. Like Muslim League selects his own, People's Party selects his own, a certain number of people. Each party is given certain seats. So whoever is selected, he feels more loyal and faithful, which he should be, to the party leader or to the party cause instead of the people. Because he is not answerable to them, because he is not selected by them. They have not voted him in. He has been selected by the party, and that is where his interest would be.
Right, so the idea is that if minorities had the option of electing their own candidate, then that person would be under a greater obligation to deliver on expectations. If you would like to read other comments or want to share your ideas about this topic, just visit us on facebook.com/accesspointwithat or come to Urdu VOS Facebook page. Back to you, Aisha.
Thank you so much, Sarah. You've moved us perfectly to our next segment, which is what are the issues of minorities? Samson, I want to come to you. We've heard one of the voters in Pakistan say the selection of minorities, giving them seats depending on the percentage of their win in general elections, makes them almost beholden to the party and not to the minorities. What would you say?
Yes, he's absolutely right, and I agree with him. In fact, the procedure for selecting minorities according to the list and according to the proportion each party gets in the national and provincial assemblies is in violation of Article 5 and Article 2 to 6 of the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, which says that the sanctity of the ballot and the secrecy of the ballot has to be adhered to. So according to the Constitution, all elections in Pakistan that pertain to the parliament have to be held by a secret ballot. And here we are with the procedure, which is highly flawed. First of all, as the bishop said, it is not the true representatives of the people, but it's the psychopaths and the yes men of the politicians and the political leaders who manage to get on the list. This is the first thing. The second thing is that once these people get into the assemblies, then they are not answerable to their populations in the respective minority regions. They are answerable to the head of the party. And it is for this reason that this is of an entirely non-representative character. And despite being a senior leader in Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, I decided that till such time Article 2 to 6 is not adhered to by the Election Commission of Pakistan, I will not enter into a competition in which I am violating the constitution of my country to which I have been sworn.
Okay, let's bring in Mukesh. Samson, let's bring in Mukesh here. Mukesh, first of all, do you agree with this? And please explain how complicated this issue is, because before, when minorities had separate seats, they felt marginalized. And now they can participate in general elections, but they also have elected seats by the party, which again is a problem, as you just heard. So what are some of the solutions on the table? Mukesh, can you hear me? Okay, we cannot hear Mukesh at this. Mukesh, can you hear me? Okay, Mukesh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, the thing is actually, before 2002, when the general election used to take place in a separate vote, the seat for the MNA didn't have one criteria or one area, basically. He had to go all around the Pakistan to collect his votes. Basically, a person standing for MNA going all around Pakistan, running after votes, which is like next to impossible for a person to get elected and going all around the Pakistan and trying to get votes. So basically, that was also very much unfair with us. When it comes to this system, yes, there are plus points and there are minus points. The plus points are that the person standing locally, a person standing locally in that area, whoever votes for him, is an easy approach to that person. If I live in Karachi or if I live in Kashmir, any part of Sindh, and if I get a voter from Peshawar, how do you expect him to come all the way to Karachi or Kashmir? Or how do you expect me to every month go to Peshawar from Karachi? So basically, there are some bad points and there are some good points. So it has to be worked out. It has to be separated. There are a lot of options. There are a lot of things which have been working out for the future. They can have 2 districts and 1 MPA seat can come on that. So there are some things working on, which are hopefully when our government comes, inshallah, in the near future, we'll work on that and bring some good results.
Let's move on to the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan and what it's watching in these elections, since they've been watching the minority roles very closely. Najam, what are some of the other issues that you're watching that are happening around Pakistan?
Well, one of the issue is the one that Qasim touched upon. Of course, with the joint electorate, and despite at least words of commitment from government, Ahmadis still remain on a separate list, and they've said that as long as they remain on that list, they will not vote. So there goes the whole question about their participation. In terms of looking at the larger picture, we think that with the joint electorate there have been some positives as well. Now at least some candidates try and court the minority voters. They at least go to them. We've also seen that there have been some increase in interest in terms of nomination filing by members of minorities. So there is that.
Okay.
But it will take time because one has to understand that for a large part it's almost been a part of the belief, so to speak, to look at the minorities as somehow inferior.
Right. So let me come to you, Qasim. Since you live in US and you're from Pakistan, so you understand both systems very accurately. And then we'll come to the Ahmadiyya issue later.
Sure.
But explain this first. If minorities can tip the balance in a certain constituency, how long will it take for the political parties to realize that? And what is it that's holding it back? Is it that the minorities don't realize their power and are not joining hands with each other? Or is it that the political parties don't understand that this is a true voting bloc?
Well, I think there's no question that minorities can tip the balance. Back in the early 1970s, when Bhutto came to the Ahmadiyya Muslim community and asked for their vote, we were a minority back then as well. A Muslim minority, but we were still a minority, and he knew this, and he knew he needed our vote to win. So if minorities made an impact 40 years ago, there's no doubt that they make an impact today. And for change to happen, it's going to require political leadership that has the courage and the dignity to stand up to extremist elements, to clerics, to mullahism. Until and unless that happens, you're going to continue to see immense persecution and immense unjust behaviors that you're seeing right now.
A lot of people in Pakistan don't really understand what's happening with the Ahmadiyya community. So I want you to go into a little bit of detail. When a minority, a religious minority goes to register for elections, if you're a Christian, Jew, Buddhist, whatever, you go there, there's a list, you say you're a Christian, you tick that.
Right.
What happens if you're an Ahmadi?
Well, I think the comment made earlier about the requirement that the Constitution has of a secret ballot is being violated. To register to vote as an Ahmadi, well, first of all, we consider ourselves Muslims because we recite the kalima, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. So we're not going to register ourselves as non-Muslim, first of all. Second of all, if we want to register ourselves as Muslim, then the laws require us to sign a declaration cursing and sending insults upon Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, whom we consider the Imam Mahdi and Masih. So it's such an unjust situation in Pakistan that to declare yourself Muslim, you have to send a curse. We find this offensive not only on human decency levels, but also offensive to the honor and character of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
And what about those, explain the other side too, what about the Ahmadis who are willing to register as a religious minority? What do they have to do?
Well, to register as a religious minority, you would essentially need to declare yourself non-Muslim. So to put it in the perspective of a Sunni or Shia Muslim, imagine if just to vote, a basic civil right guaranteed by the Constitution, you need to declare yourself a non-Muslim only for the right to vote. It's a completely unjust and unconstitutional requirement.
Okay, let me go to Human Rights Commission of Pakistan on that. Have you seen any movement on this issue? Where is the politics on this right now?
On this is to not touch the issue. We have not heard anything from any politician of significance, and so basically there's not a commitment to move on. For now this is too hard an issue to touch right now. Maybe somebody I think the fear is that somebody could win some votes, but they could also lose quite a few more.
Okay, before we move on, we also have a lot of Facebook comments on this issue. Let's go back to our social media desk where Sarah Zaman's waiting for us. Sarah?
As you have mentioned, that religious minorities are a strong voting bloc in various constituencies across Pakistan, but we also know that the safety, security and human rights of this population are a cause for concern. So on our social media platforms, we asked whether minority rights should be an election issue. Waqar Ahmed Sayal says, yes, if you are running a democracy, then everybody has rights and we need to ensure that the rights are protected, whether they are of the majority or a minority. Kamran Niazi agrees. He says, we cannot forget that minorities are counted as part of our population. A minority group will be willing to sacrifice their lives for a country only if they are given their due rights. And engineer Ahmed GM, however, says that minority rights should not be an issue because Pakistan came into being on the premise that it will treat everyone equally and provide them assistance according to the law. The recent events, I think, were a conspiracy hatched by politicians to sympathize with the minorities and attract their vote. So looking at the overall feedback that we have received, it seems that people don't think there should be any negative sentiment surrounding minority rights, but there are mixed views on whether political parties should include that in their election campaigns or not. Back to you, Aisha.
Thank you very much. Samson, let me come to you. Security has been an issue for the Christians, particularly in the Punjab province. Can you tell me if parties have come forward and promised something particular about that to the community?
Yes, Aisha, but before I come to that, let me tell you two other problems which have not been mentioned.
Sure.
The second issue is that in the separate electorate, there were a number of seats allotted to every religion. So the concept of balanced religions coming into the parliament was there. But after 2002 and amendments in the constitution, it's just a list. So it depends on the party leader whether he makes all Christians as members of parliament or he makes all Hindus members of parliament. And an example I'll give you is that the party in majority, Pakistan People's Party, to which Mukesh Chawla belongs, no aspersions, had a predominance of Hindu parliamentarians and only one Christian, and that Christian also he was assassinated, Shahbaz Bhatti. This is another very serious issue. An amendment has to be brought in the constitution where all religions can equally be represented according to the proportion of their populations in Pakistan. Now coming to the law and order issue, yes, lots of people came. Recently we had an incident in Badami Bagh. Imran Khan visited the area from my party and I was accompanying him, and so did most of the leaders of nearly all the political parties of Pakistan, and there was a lot of sympathy and empathy, and that was something good, and especially the clerics who are
Okay, Samson, let me interrupt you a little bit. I want to ask you something. So you are saying that political parties are not doing this, political parties are not doing that. What being part of the electorate gives you is also the right to negotiate. If the Christian minority in Punjab can negotiate with whoever they vote for.
I have understood your question. It's very, very unfortunate. In fact, I would also echo the sentiments of one of my Hindu brothers who spoke on the social media. There's a lot of exploitation. There's exploitation by the Christians. There are exploitations by the rich Hindus. The people they represent, they never go back to them. But I want to tell you one positive. Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf is fielding two candidates from religious minorities on open seats. We have a young man by the name of Ahmad Sharjeel who will be contesting against Nabil Gabol from Karachi in the National Assembly. And we have another, Amar Samuel, who will be contesting against Mia Shahbaz Sharif from Lahore, a very big stronghold of Christians called Johannabad. So Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf perhaps has taken the initiative in fielding non-Muslims on the general seats in the general elections. So that is one positive which is coming out of these elections.
Okay, I want to come very quickly to you, Mukesh, which is what can the minorities do, and you're a politician yourself, to negotiate with the parties and say, if we vote for your party, we want this particular person to be part of the parliament?
Aisha, I would like to add something. When it comes to general seats, besides PTI, I think People's Party was the first party to bring in a minority as on a general seat. And this time, People's Party again has given minorities, non-Muslim Pakistani, like Dr. Khatumal, Dr. Mahesh Malani, to stand on general seats and fight against, like, as a normal person, first of all. Second of all, the thing is, when it comes to the voting system is really nice. Like over here, minorities are getting more rights right now. I think in this system, You can stand on general seat. You can vote for normal people. You can, and when it comes to, besides Christian and Hindu, I think People's Party was the first one in this government. They took a Parsi as an advisor whose name is Din Shah Uncle Saria. And in the forthcoming election, he's also been on the list again.
So you're saying under this system, there's movement towards betterment. People are realizing their rights. Well, let's go once more to our social media desk before we run out of time and see what you have to say. Sarah?
All right, Aisha, so we've talked about how much minority vote will matter on May 11th, but how do you think minority representation can be improved in these elections? Let's first see what Karori Ram, a political worker from Karachi, says in his video comment, and then we'll move to Facebook.
इधर तालीम होनी चाहिए। तालीम जो आज का नौजवान है, अगर वो MNA MPA बने तो तालीम याफ्ता बनेगा तो वो सक्सेस होगा, आगे चल के कौम की भी खिदमत करेगा।
So Karori Ram thinks bringing educated young people into politics will lead to better quality of representation and also greater public service. But looking at social media platforms, I see that Muhammad Rafiq says there should be no concept of majority or minority. Everyone should be a Pakistani. We need to create awareness that everyone has equal rights and they should respect their religions. And we received a video comment from Bishop Khalid Pervez in Islamabad, and basically his concern was that if you go to the concept of general electorate, then a lot of Christian candidates don't have the financial means and the backing to participate in elections and also succeed. We look forward to reading your thoughts on this issue of minority vote and representation in Pakistan's upcoming parliamentary elections. Join the conversation at facebook.com/accesspointwithat or log on to facebook.com/VOA Urdu. You can also follow us on Twitter at Urdu VOA.
Thank you very much, Sarah. I want to come to you, Qasim, about that last comment about the guy. There should be no religion, just Pakistani. Do you vote in America, if I may ask?
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you vote in America, you know your religion is never asked. When you register to vote,
Right.
when you make a passport, nobody knows whether you're a Christian or a Jew or a Hindu or a Muslim. Do you think that makes a difference?
I think that makes a huge difference. And it goes back to what a democracy is supposed to be based off of. It's supposed to be based off of absolute justice. And you needn't even look at America. You can look at Pakistan's original founding words by Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He mentioned that this is not a Muslim state, it's a state for Muslims, that we have many Christians, Hindus, Parsis, and Ahmadis, but we are all equal citizens of one state. So for Pakistan to get back on its feet, it's going to need to recognize that justice and democracy requires that we treat every citizen equally. This is the example that our beloved Master Prophet Muhammad ﷺ established, and this is exactly what Ahmadis and all minorities, in fact, what all fair-minded Pakistanis should want.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'll come very quickly to you, Samson, and say, would it make a difference? And does Pakistan have the stomach for that, not even asking anybody's religion?
Pakistanis as a nation and as a system have to reconcile within the contradictions created between the Lahore resolution, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah's speech of 11th August 1947, which was just quoted, and a dictator-imposed ideology of Pakistan, which was fabricated and given to the people in textbook. The day we managed to reconcile this has also improved our entire fabric in the country because
okay,
of the
so
war
we're running out of time. I want to give Mukesh just 20 seconds. Samson, thank you so much. We're running out of time. Mukesh, in 20 seconds, would it help or hurt minorities if they just have general seats and no reserve seats?
Affect minorities if they don't have reserved seats because, at least the representation is always there for sure. That's why.
Okay, so Mukesh mentions that at this point in Pakistan, the reserve seats help minorities because there's some representation, even though they still don't have the financial means sometimes to compete in the general elections. I wish we could keep talking, but our time is up. I want to thank our guests, Qasim Rashid, Samson Sharaf, Najmuddin, and Mukesh Chawla. And I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget to send us your comments on Access Point Facebook page or tweet me at Tanzeem or Urdu VOA. Definitely check out our website at urduvoa.com. Goodbye from Washington.